Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to all my new followers. This week's episode we're going to talk about the Nikon F100 or sort of review it. It's not going to be an in-depth review, but it's definitely going to be sort of an ode to the Nikon F100 because it is a great camera. It's phenomenal. It's very inventive and therefore it's applicable for a lot of different applications. I bought the camera mainly because of the photo shoots. I did a lot of photo shoots. I'm not doing as many photo shoots anymore because I'm kind of past that a little bit in my photographic journey. But back in the day, I wanted something that was a little bit more professional. Thanks to the digital onslaught, the prices of the Nikon F100 dropped. Not of the F6, unfortunately, which is financially not the best value, but would I like to have an F6? Heck yes. So the F6 is a wonderful camera. Also the F5. Now, why the F100? It feels solid. If you look at the specs, you'll understand why. 1/8,000th of a high shutter speed, 400, portrait 400 all day long with wide open lenses. If you want to have that shallow depth in field in portraiture. 1/250th of a second sync speed in the studio for flash photography. That is awesome. That's really great. Another aspect that I feel, excuse me, another aspect that I feel that's often overlooked is that this camera does vibration reduction or vibration compensation, however you want to look at it. I initially shot it a while with the little nifty 50, the Nikon or the Nikon AF50 1.8D, and which is a really great sharp lens for the price. I mean, $100, you can sometimes find them for $80. And I shot with this little lens for a long time, but I felt at some point that I could get a little bit more out of it. And then so I was doing some research. Initially I was looking at the 50G, the 1.8G or the 1.4 even. But then Tamron kind of came out with these guys, and they came out with it a little bit before I was looking at it. And it had vibration reduction, and I thought that was pretty handy. And I've certainly used that. This camera in combination with the Tamron 1.8, the Tamron 45 1.8, I use it for over a year and a half to document life, do photo shoots. I took it on a rally or a demonstration. I did have a strap around it back then. Sometimes you do have to use straps, of course. And it was great for sort of a journalistic aspect. So therefore, this camera is great for everything. Of course, you're not going to shoot sports with it unless you're independently wealthy and you can burn through a lot of film. But outside of that, portraiture all day long, very accurate in its autofocus if it has enough light. In low light conditions, sometimes it can hunt a little bit, but if you give it enough light, it's dead accurate. Also with you've seen it in action in my photo shoot video, which I'll link up here. And you've seen it in action with the grip on there. It makes it look professional. You have a solid grip. You have that vertical shutter button that is really great. And you get just such sharp results. Results that are very stellar in 35 millimeter, especially if you pair it with, a Portra 160, and in black and white, a Pen F50, a Delta 100, those type films, you get just really stellar results. That is why I bought this camera. Is the autofocus as accurate in low light conditions as the F5? No, the F5 also has the mirror lockup, which this camera doesn't have and kind of doesn't need, because the mirror is so dampened. I mean, it's let me put it in manual here. I mean, listen to that. It's fantastic. It just doesn't, and it's fantastic. It's such a professional Let me find focus here. Such a professional sounding camera. A very digital sound to it. I think a lot of digital cameras initially were kind of modeled after the F100, and therefore it looks very current. These cameras were, I believe, built in 98 or 99. Production was stopped in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're relatively new compared to, for instance, my Konica 3A, which is a 60 plus old camera. They're robust, magnesium alloy body. This is a camera that you can, especially with this little nifty 50, you can throw in a bag and it'll live. Of course, any precision instrument you want to take care of, and you don't want to really throw it in a bag, but this is a camera that I still gravitate towards more than I'd like to admit, because it does have such a digital feel, right? It's not a camera of the 70s, which is a nice metal look, although there is a lot of sort of plastic in the outer shell. This is solid. I mean, this is absolute. I believe this part is even actually metal because it feels solid. I mean, it's such a solid build. What I use it for is mainly photo shoots and sort of documenting life with this 45. This camera absolutely served me very well. If you're a Nikon shooter and you're in a digital realm and you're considering going into film, I think this camera is an absolutely wonderful pick. Let's be honest, most people nowadays, they come from digital. I used, back in 99, started shooting film, then I did digital for a while, I'll admit it, but then film just draws you back in. But most people nowadays, they start shooting, they shoot digital, and then they're interested in maybe shooting a little bit of film. And I think this camera, $200, if you already have the Nikon lenses, $200, $180, you have an F100, and you can produce stellar results. It's kind of a seamless transition. My D700 and the F100 might as well be twin brothers or cousins. It's such a similar experience. You get stellar results. The matrix meter is so beautiful. You can really rely on it. The camera also has spot meter, if you're interested in that. And it's accurate. I definitely use that. You put it into spot meter. Let me put that into spot meter here. You focus on a certain area, then you focus on a certain area, then you press auto exposure lock, and you recompose, and you can expose to whatever light value that you want. I really love that about the Nikon F100. And I've used that in photos to, maybe have the sky exposed, or maybe have a certain, exposed for a certain area. If you're doing portraits, you want to expose for the face, and you're not that worried about the rest. So this camera is professional level, in my opinion. Marketing says semi-pro, but you can use this, in weddings. I've seen people using it in weddings, and you get stellar results. Yeah, the Nikon F100. So if you're a digital shooter and you're interested in a Nikon shooter and you're interested in shooting some film, I would highly recommend the Nikon F100. Also, if you're not a Nikon shooter and you're still interested in shooting film, Nikon F100, phenomenal camera, great value for your money, absolutely great value. Guys, I'm going to leave you with some of my favorite photos that I've ever shot with my Nikon F100. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.